Are you wondering how to make your next virtual event or hybrid event a memorable one? I know we've gone to countless amounts of events in the last 2 years, especially online, and Zoom fatigue is super real. So how do you break through the noise? Well, I'm going to break down a couple examples that I've used at different events that have left our attendees just super happy and remembering our event, which as a brand, as an event host, as an organizer, is really the key sometimes to seeing success at your event. So stick around. I'm Logan Clements, freelance event producer, and before we get into it, I do want to remind you to like, subscribe, turn on that little notification bell so you're notified every single Monday when I drop new videos. I also have a podcast with fellow planner Mary Davidson of EP Events. You can follow that at Better Events Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's more free advice about event planning, and we dive into a different topic every single week. It's about 20-30 minutes, so it's perfect for any errands you're running or going on a power walk and getting some fresh air. So give it a listen. All right, so how to make your event memorable? I get this question all the time from clients, especially right now as we start to transition with hybrid, things are staying virtual. How do you set yourself apart? And so the biggest thing that I like to emphasize is that you should try to think about how you can surprise and delight your guests. I'll say it again for the people in the back. Surprise and delight. And so what do I mean by that? I mean doing something different than what you normally do. And it's not something that you always have to advertise ahead of the event. There's a difference between having a really big keynote speaker that will drive attendees and doing something small that surprises and delights. So what's an example of this? Before COVID, I was working in sports production, and I still do that now as we're starting to open back up. But one of the things that I love is a good old T-shirt toss. Or if you went to like a ball game, it's like a hot dog toss. But what's the cool part of a T-shirt toss? It's free T-shirts. People love free things. But the fun part of it is usually it doesn't matter where you're sitting. They're not just giving T-shirts to the people in the front row or the people in the back. It's usually people running around. Sometimes they have a T-shirt cannon that can make it go really, really far. But you're surprising and delighting. And the reaction that you get from the people who catch a T-shirt or even catch a foul ball, that's what we're seeing on the replay reels, because that is memorable. It's something that then was fun and delighted at least those people that got a free T-shirt. Now, the people who didn't catch one, maybe they don't remember it, but it's just something different, and it breaks up what you're there for. So think about how you can add that surprise and delight to your event. So an example at a virtual event that I had a client do a couple months ago was a mid-event dance party. We were all in Zoom. It was a celebration. We had some speakers. We were honoring a few honorees. And then right in the middle of it, they paused everything and said, we piped in some music to Zoom and said, hey, let's start a dance party. And what we'd planned was having 30-second clips of a bunch of songs that people would know, the YMCA, shout, some things to get people moving. And then we turned Zoom into our own personal dance cam and started spotlighting people who were having fun and dancing. And it sounds something like this. It's risky because maybe it's not going to last that long or people don't really enjoy it, but it was something that was fun and it was memorable. We still had attendees immediately after the event saying, that was so much fun. I wish we could have danced sooner in the event. They would have wanted it earlier, but they loved kind of that joyful celebration that got them out of their chairs, was something different than just sitting and staring at a screen. Another event that I went to as an attendee did a really cool thing where they gave out free lunches, and they had a speaker look under his seat, and he was very shocked. Clearly, he didn't know anything was taped under his seat because he was at home. The person telling him to do it was at his home. And turns out the organizer had convinced the wife of this guy to tape something under his chair, and he looked down, and it was a free lunch for him. And then he was able to randomly select an attendee to also win. And it was really fun because I ended up winning randomly, and I got a free DoorDash gift card. So that was something that was super fun and different. And again, it was like buzzworthy. Everybody was like, whoa, how'd you do that? It seemed like a magic trick, but it was something different that broke up this virtual conference. So thinking about how you can surprise and delight people. Another option for surprising and delighting is doing at-home deliveries. If you're doing a hybrid or a virtual event and you have a virtual audience, having food or drink delivered to their house, whether it's pre-planned or a surprise. I do love a good gift box. I know we've been trying to be more intentional with the swag that you're getting for events, and I think there's a nice way to do it, and it's a way just to build excitement around your event. I went to an alumni event, and they mailed us all mugs and a sticker, and it was great, and I still use that mug to this day because it's a one from my university that I went to, but it was a nice way to bring us all together before we had this morning meeting. So think about what you can do as an event host that feels in line with your mission. You don't have to just give free stuff to give free stuff, but how can you mix up what's happening? One more example I'll give you is from a corporate side of things. I had a corporate event and it was a training they were doing, a very long conference, a multi-week conference. And as a part of the openings, they ended up making a spoof video, kind of like an SNL video of one of their key executives because I guess during quarantine, he kept changing up his hairstyle and different facial hair and things like that. And so they actually made like a spoof video that he'd come out with some hair product and they'd photoshopped in pictures of him and had employees as the like testimonials of having their hair like Bob. And it was actually really funny and they didn't show it to anybody ahead of time. So we got the real-time reaction from that executive after showing this video. And it was such a lighthearted moment in the middle of this not super serious, but professional conference. And it just, again, surprised and delight and like introduced a little bit of levity into what you're doing. We all just want to connect, and I think even as the world opens back up, connection is still going to be important, and making people feel something. And joy and delight are an easy emotion that you can give people, are usually positively associated with your event. So I just challenge you as an organizer, as a planner, as even a speaker, how can you incorporate and surprise and delight to make your event memorable? Because trust me, even if it's something that you're feeling a little nervous about, I'll tell you the client we were doing the dance thing for, they were nervous, but they were committed to it because one of the beautiful things of these things is, the dance party could have been 1 minute long, it could have been 10 minutes long, and we had that ability to change that in the moment and react and see what's happening. But if they'd never done that, I think their event would have had a completely different tone. So if you take one thing away from this video, I hope it's that to take some chances, try something different, surprise and delight. No matter who you are as an event host, organizer, or a speaker. I'd say you could do it as an attendee, but it's not necessarily your role. But really just think about how you can inject something different into your event, because trust me, you won't regret it. It'll be something fun and memorable, and you'll learn from it no matter what. But imagine you are that t-shirt cannon. What can be your t-shirt cannon for your event, your t-shirt toss that just surprise and delights your attendees? And that's all I have for you folks. I'm Logan Clements, freelance event producer. This has been another installment of my favorite tips and tricks when it comes to event planning and running your own business. As always, feel free to reach out to me in the comments. What videos do you like, you want to see more of? And I will see you guys again next Monday. Bye.